Okay, so Leon's grandmother. We're at Leon's grandmother's house, and we're picking out which pair he wants, and he chose one at the top of the tree this time. Emily, what point of view is this story being told? Third person point of view. How do you know? Very good. It says he.
A lot of times.
Good job. A lot of times. He's at her house a lot of times.
Good
Very
job,
good.
Emily.
Well, it's in the back, Bryce. All right, let's look at slide 13. It was the same thing. You're supposed to have done the same thing. I'm on the green one. Are you on the green one? Make sure you're on slide 13. I know, you're on the wrong slide. It's okay. All right, the sound was unmistakable. It was a snarl of a revved up chainsaw. I pulled the scrap of paper from my pocket and looked again at the address scribbled from the assistant wanted ad. There were no trees in this yard, at least none looking over the gate. What exactly was being chainsawed back there? I took a deep breath and opened the back gate. I was relieved to find an old man carving a log into a grizzly bear. Isaiah, what point of view do you think that this one's told in? First person, second person, third person, really just first or third for this one. Okay, very good.
He said third.
I can't. Isaiah, what did you say, Boo? Oh, okay, well, let's look at it. Let's go back to what the difference is between first and third, okay? First person is a character from the story narrating it. So the character is in the story. They're going to use words like I, me, we, and us. Third person point of view is told from a person who is not in the story. So whoever is telling the story is not in there. It's not happening to them, okay? They use words like he, she, they, and them. So let's go back to our slide. Let's look at it. The sound was unmistakable. It was the sound of a snarl of a revved up chainsaw. I pulled the scrap of paper from my pocket. Do you see the I in my, Isaiah? What does that tell us? There you go. It's first person. The I and the my there let me know that whoever's telling this story is the person who's experiencing this situation. They are there. They are telling us what's happening.
Good job.
Good try. All right, so number, or really the second one, the orange one. Noah, what's this name? Yvette. Very good. Yvette stood off the side at recess as she watched her new classmates shoot baskets. Listen. She desperately wanted to join them. She loved basketball more than anything. However, she had always been terrified of introducing herself to total strangers. Kelly looked up and noticed Yvette watching. Kelly wondered why she hadn't come over yet. After all, Yvette was wearing a Celtic shirt. She must be a basketball fan. So Kelly went to invite her over.
That's nice.
That is nice. Madeline? What point of view do you think? I'm on the orange one. What do you have on your slideshow? Okay. Yes, I agree. What made you think that, Madeline? Right, so it's two girls. They're using words like her. They're using words like she, like you just mentioned. So that lets me know that the person telling this story is not in it. It's not happening to Yvette's not telling the story. Kelly's not telling the story. Otherwise, they would have said I or me. Okay? Let us look at the third one, the pink one. And it says, Charlie sped down the left sideline, dribbling the ball with incredible grace and weaving around the defender after defender. It was astonishing to watch. Unfortunately, Charlie's teammates were just as mesmerized as the crowd was. Listen to this. Charlie centered the ball, but Luke wasn't in front of the goal like he was supposed to be. He'd been standing with his hands on his hips as he watched Charlie's magic. The goalie easily snatched the ball out of the air, and a great scoring chance was lost. So his teammates are so impressed by him, they're not even paying attention to what's going on in the game. That's nutty. All right, tell me what point of view you have. Listen, finally. Okay, you said first person point of view. Tell me why.
Because it had he.
Okay. Think about the song. First person is
Me.
me. Second person is you. Third person is he. Third person is she.
Let's get your
So which one is it, Bryson? Third person, because it does have he. It tells us what Charlie was doing as he dribbled the ball. He'd been standing with his hands on his hip. It tells us what his teammate Luke was doing. So it's third person, because Luke or Charlie are not telling us this story. They are not the narrators. It's somebody who's not in the story is telling us. Okay,
But hey, like, well, what if that actually happened in a real basketball?
that would be so crazy, huh?
That would be sad.
That would be cool. All right, Colton, what is it, babe? Well, it's almost time for PE, so you can plug it in there.
Yeah, mine wasn't down.
Listen, what is it, Ethan? Okay, any questions about these two slides and how I got my answers and where they came from? Case.
Why were they so easy?
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you feel that way.
What was mine? Could have the last one.
No, I still have 3 in here.
Yeah, I'm wonderful.
Noah? Okay, good. So we're going to do more practice. It's almost time for, listen, it's almost time for PE, but let's read the passage of the next one before it's PE time.
No.
All right. The next one, the next set of practice slides that you're going to do are slide 14, 15, and 16. Let's look at them. 14. It has 2 passages. Both passages are about the same event. One's told from first person point of view. One is told from third person point of view. You're going to take these 2 passages, you're going to read them, and then you're going to discuss them. So, you're going to tell me who is telling each one of these stories, what point of view each one of these stories are in, Adeline, what information is different coming from each of these stories, and which of these stories gives you the most information. Okay, that's going to be on slide 15. Slide 16, you are going to compare and contrast these stories just like you did for your Whipping Boy movie on Friday, on Wednesday actually, on Wednesday. So you know how to compare and contrast because we did this on Wednesday. So on one side, it's going to say, instead of title, you would write story 1. On this side, you would write story 2. You tell me at least 3 things that they have in common and 3 things that they are different.
I already know one that it's
Okay, yeah. Sure.
stories.
Well, they're both, y'all listen, I'm going to read them to you right now so that I can make sure that you know what's going on, but they're both about the same situation. Ready? Story 1. As soon as the bell rang, you ready? Jason walked into the room and scrambled to his seat. His face was red and his hands were clenched. His friends asked him what was wrong and he replied, nothing. When the teacher asked for homework, Jason didn't have his. At recess time, Jason had to sit out and he was not allowed to play with his friends. That's story 1.
Oh, that's sad.
Listen to story 2. This is the same situation told from a different point of view. Ready? I was running extremely late because my mom had rear-ended the car in front of us this morning. I barely made it to school on time. Right before I walked into my room, I remembered that I'd left my homework in the car. I knew I was going to get in trouble and lose all my recess. Frustrated, I walked into the room and sat in my desk. When the teacher asked for my homework, I just sat there. I was so upset. This was not my fault at all. I wish my mom had been more careful this morning. When it was finally recess time, I had to watch all of my friends play while I sat on the bench. I just hope I can get my homework out of my mom's wrecked car. Now, I don't want you to tell me anything. This is what we're going to pick up and start doing right when we get back from PE.
He should have just
Okay.
told the teacher. She probably would have let him go.
Should have told him when the car was red.
We didn't listen. This is not a story about us. This isn't a story about how we handled it. It's a story about how Jason handled it. So I wanted you to make sure that you heard the stories, and then you're gonna get to work on this as soon as we get back. Okay? Right now though, we're